No, but that's what happened.
I think there's just so many different sides of the story that's just the way you're gonna see it. But it makes no sense.
I was there.
To me.
I came off my couch.
It makes no sense to show up.
I don't want to. I'm being emphatic. I'm not against you.
It makes no sense to show up prepared in a way that you're showing.
What do you think police are? They show up in riot gear.
Yeah, but we're
I know, but police aren't anything. They're not. They're just super citizens. That's it. We should have. Here, let me. It's disrespectful for me to. Fine. It's just. See, when I grew up, policemen were just citizens who had a job. That's how I grew up. And apparently now they're super cops who are able to get all the military equipment and kill people on demand. And no, but because if they don't want to protect you, then they're not going to protect you. And that was already foretold by. Okay, okay.
But I'm just saying, showing up with that gear,
sure,
showing that you're ready to defend and fight your battle.
No, to defend for our lives, because right.
It shows you're ready. Like,
but what were we supposed to do? Roll over and play dead?
Be like me and you. Like, someone could right now throw at us.
But they're coming. They're coming to attack. They show up in mass to cause violence.
You don't know that. Every single person show up with the.
See, the thing is, you can't say every single person, because the SS was not all of Germany. The SS in Germany was only what, 50,000.
You're saying they're coming to attack. You're assuming the entire group.
No. For 2 hours we had this conversation. Yeah, I could talk to you about Trump policies, because it's about. It's a whole nother level than what the media is playing. So the thing is, I don't blame your information stream. I agree with you to a certain extent, but my point is when
however you justify it, to me,
sure,
it's bad that people are showing up with weapons, with gear, showing they're prepared to fight. Because let's say no one touches them, it's almost like you're inciting. Right.
Then then you'd be able to be ridiculing those persons. But what if they showed up, defended to prepare to defend the group, and the group got attacked, and they were the ones who actually defended? Then that's what happened on March 4th.
That's not what I saw.
Well, I was there, and I can tell you for a fact that
the same thing. Like, I know both sides, and
I took the video of the whole thing, because I came dressed in. I came dressed in black because I didn't want to stand out in the crowd, and I was just seeing what the whole deal was. But I'm a patriot. I love America. I love. My mom came from Japan, and
people should be more informed on the word patriot. Whenever you get home, Google patriot, and it does not mean something.
I love the country.
Anyone who wants to stand up
right
on the left and
sure.
So what I'm saying is, someone actually talks about government. There's a lot of people, and there'll be a slogan: "Love my country, hate my government." So people who are patriots aren't necessarily.
Sure.
You can be.
You have to defend the Constitution, and the Constitution doesn't defend the government.
The term blind patriot.
Well, I mean, that's just right. That's
that means that no matter what
there has to be something going on. We agree. I don't think there's nothing that separates us on that.
What I'm saying is, people who go out to protest, either way, either side, they're all, angry or support doing something. They want change in the country. They want change.
But would you go into a church? Would you condone going into a church and disrupting their religious ceremony? Okay. No. Let's just walk through this one. You say no, right? That's obvious. No. Right. And then, so what if that ceremony was held outside, a religious ceremony, like a
protesting is a legal right, just like for your right to protest, you have a right to counter protest.
I know, but why would you do that? Why won't you just let the guys have their say and then move on? Well, it's the counter protest that causes the violence.
Well, there's been counter protests on all sides.
Yeah, but don't you think that the counter protest is there to shut down that person's civil right? If they try to speak, like come with amplified sound, or to come.
If you believe that it's actually promoting hate, violent speech, and rhetoric, then I think people do want to shut it down for a very good reason.
I know, but what if the hate rhetoric? What if they're able to because of behavioral psychology, and all we have to do is say the hallucinogenic words, and people go.
But you may not be one of those, but there are people.
Of course there are. Well, no. Okay, but you have to say that with any group. There in any group there's extremists. Like, you can't. That there's no set of angel group that I know of that exists of perfect human beings. I'm not going to take responsibility for the far element of any group.
To protest and not a right to. It's weird that it's called a right to free speech.
Right, because you have a
but
right
it's
to
not.
peaceably assemble and to have free speech. If you can't have free speech,
Take it back before the Berkeley thing that happened. Before
Okay.
March 4th. When all the Black Lives Matter, I'm just using an example, when all the protests have been happening, heavily covered by the media in the past 2, 3, 4 years,
right?
people on the opposition were saying, God, why are in the street? Why don't they get jobs? All this stuff. No one was talking about their right to protest. Only now do I hear
no.
that. I honestly never heard anyone who was like not in agreement with whatever they were protesting say, well, they have a right to be out there.
But do you think they have a right to break storefront windows and to light things on fire?
That is a different part of people.
But that's not what see the thing is it's peculiar that you would say, but what about your group? You have a far right element. But I'm pointing out an example of Black Lives Matter where all the nation saw, the only thing they remember are riots in Oakland. And that's what I'm trying to say, no. But that's all they remember, right?
I don't know if there was a riot in Oakland. I know there was one in Ferguson, in Baltimore.
There was Molotov cocktails on November 10th of 2016 in Oakland. Three cops got injured.
Still, just because you think peacefully assembling in that park.
No, here I'll show you. See, because I want to verify.
But what I'm saying is that happens all over the world.
I know, but my point is I need you to be able to concede a point. I don't need you. I want to point out. It would make me feel like we're being productive by having you concede a point where you're saying, no, that didn't happen in Oakland. I'm saying it did happen in Oakland where Molotov cocktails were thrown November 10th. If I can show you a website right now saying that we want to start a riot, like a tiny URL, so a pseudo secret that's on the bottom of these signs, and on there it shows a Molotov cocktail and said one night, one riot.
Are you friends with, what's his name? I forget his name. Anyway,
I'm not friends with many people.
Today, where a guy was cleaning his bullets in fried bacon with oil grease because he was going to use that for a Muslim. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but in Chicago we could show that one. I know, but crazy shit.
That's the guy that's being on the poster of your march, though. He's the one actually literally.
There's no poster of the march. The poster of the march is there's. You're talking about the. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, if you look up Trump supporters March 4th, the leader of your group is the one.
There's no leader.
The poster Trump. Everyone takes out a bad guy, right? So, but on this side, he's not even actually portrayed a bad guy.
I know, but you think so what you're saying. Okay, so what you're saying is that if somebody digs up something from somebody's past, that forever. I'm not even verifying that it's true. We're not gonna bake bullets in baking grease on Saturday.
I know, but for one person to say that, who's right?
Right, but what I'm saying is in November.
Right now, the guy he's walking around. He was here on Monday, and he said, "Come out, don't be afraid. We can write." I understand everything he's saying, but he's also showing these extreme things. It doesn't.
See, the thing is, I haven't looked into that at all, but I don't go back into somebody. My point is that we can do the same thing with Black Lives Matter and Molotov cocktails and November, just less than a year ago, right, in Oakland. Would you say all the Black Lives Matter across the country are going to throw Molotov cocktail?
I didn't see.
I know.
I don't know what these Molotov cocktails.
But my point is
but
the analogy. It's the analogy that I gave you an illustration. It's in the newspaper. Molotov cocktails. Three policemen got injured. I don't think it had to do with the burning and stuff, but they were throwing Molotov cocktails in Oakland. So does that make all people who associate themselves with Black Lives Matter Molotov cocktail throwers?
No.
Okay, so if this guy baked bullets and did something on a satire or Saturday Night Live skit or whoever knows what
No, it's his own personal page. He's promoting.
Whatever. I'm just saying.
But even the little
that's free speech.
All these other protests are for something that's not happening that they want to see change or whatever. What is and you're right. You have the right to peaceful assembly, all of us. But what is the point of marching support of someone after they're elected?
We're not. We're standing up. We're standing up for the free speech and civil rights, so that people can go to Berkeley.
It should have nothing to do with March for Trump. It should just be
why March for Trump? It is. It's just patriotic.
It should just be March for but it's not.
It's free speech.
The thing is, March for Trump rally is what that was.
No, that's what these guys want you. See, what it is they.
That's what it was called.
That's March 4th.
Right, and this is the same thing. It's Trump supporters versus the protesters.
I don't. The reason I came out March 4th is because of Berkeley in February and the riots and that kill Trump and all that crap, right? So I came out here March 4th.
Did it make, obviously the fire is burning? You don't think that's a good idea? But do you understand why people showed up?
Mm-mm.
Angry at all?
No, I don't see why people would show up in mass and instigate violence against regular citizens, even if they want to have a riot for their favorite politician.
That guy lives in
I know, but so I'm going to use the Molotov cocktail.
This was a response to March 4th. March 4th was a response to what happened in Berkeley. What happened in Berkeley is people were saying...
No, the whole Milo thing on the 4th.
Defend them for free speech.
Right.
So this is, I think, where the basic thing is. People are saying, yeah, let this guy say what he wants to say, and all these people support him. But a lot of people, somewhere in the Bill of Rights or something, understand that we have different definitions of free speech. So, in my opinion, when you talk about, concentration camps, like killing gay people and black, all these things it sounds like hate speech, not free speech.
Well,
so that's why people.
I think what happens is your information stream might be polluted, and so.
No, it's not my information stream. The things that he said, that what he's promoting is
What do you mean? What he's promoting? He was a regular guy like me who came out from somewhere and he held a flag. I stood shoulder to shoulder with him to protect.
I'm talking about the speaker that people were so strongly against it that they came and showed up and actually shut it down.
Who's that?
The Milo.
Oh, the Milo guy. Yeah,
So
I see him as an entertainment like Bill Maher.
But people were mad about that being shut down, and that's why March 4th happened. Right?
Yeah, that's why I got off the couch. Was because Berkeley. That's not the Berkeley that I know, and so I'm like.
If you know Berkeley, then you should know.
Well, I knew Berkeley.
If you knew Berkeley, then you should know that they're not going to be in support of a guy
Who cares?
slandering all these things.
My goal isn't to please. I shouldn't have to walk around eggshells on Berkeley, and hopefully I'm going to not hurt somebody's feelings. That's not how America's supposed to work.
Okay,
America's supposed to work with hurt feelings because we're tough and resilient.
Are you fully employed, or are you self-employed?
Why would you even?
The reason I'm asking that is because in this country, under discrimination laws, you cannot fire someone or whatever based on race, color, orientation, all those things.
But you can for political persuasion, apparently.
I don't know that, but what I'm saying is those are discrimination laws because it's under, just like any job, most job says like no hate speech. Well, the things that he was saying literally goes into the category of what this country constitutionally wrote was hate speech.
The only thing I could do is I can nod my head because I have no idea what you're talking about. So
okay, so you're saying her feelings. So let's go back 56 years ago.
No. What my point is, I want to be able to share the information that you are talking about, because then I'd be able to advance.
I just think people it's just different perspectives based on what you view is free speech and what you view as hurt feelings. Some people could see as hate speech and actual.
The KKK should be able to take out a permit and walk down the middle of the road on Shattuck, and they should be able to be protected by the police.
Even though that they've.
No matter what that comes out of their mouth, they should be able to say that.
Their actual actions?
No, not if their actions. No, absolutely not. Those are crimes. They should be infiltrated and thrown into jail.
So, but you're comparing to what?
My point is the speech.
Is KKK.
No. Don't. My point is free speech. When I grew up, they protected the hate speech. They protected the Larry Flints, the Hustler magazines. That's
How was Larry Flint the hate speech?
Well, it was because misogyny and stuff like that, or whatever.
But racism and
it's all
anti-Muslim, that stuff's okay.
I don't know. It's all speech, right?
But how is that?
Well, hold on. What's is anti-American or is an anti? See, the thing is, I don't know about anti-Muslim. What I know was
Muslims that are American.
Yeah, but what about what about
anti-radical
Islamic terrorists? Can we be against radical Islamic terrorism?
Not all Muslims are
right. Just like not all not all the March 4thers. Where see, the thing is, I can jump back and forth on the argument, and at one point you have to say the bad seeds don't. One bad apple should not infect the whole bushel, right? If you're, I don't believe that the guy's a bad seed, so I don't know.
I agree that bad seed. That's why I don't understand when someone would hate all people.
Right. I don't think everybody hates all the Islam faith.
Seems like there's been a lot of
I don't know of a radical Islamic terrorist myself, but what I do.
You would know. I think there's so few far between.
No, see, the thing is,
they're in this country.
Well, true, but then there's 1,000 different investigations that the FBI is going on various, radical Islamic terrorists. That's what I.
What about American terrorism?
Then we'll talk about that. Okay, so how many of those are going on? I'm not for violence. I'm not for overthrowing the Constitution. I love the Constitution. That's my religion. Okay, and so that accommodates all religions, but it doesn't accommodate the subjugation of a religion into laws, for example. Okay, like you shouldn't be able to do honor killings, right?
Right.
At the same time, you shouldn't be able to. I'm trying to think of because I want to do the same thing for a Christian thing. You shouldn't. Well, what would be a Christian sin? Homosexual. You know, you shouldn't be able to hurt somebody because of their sexual preference. You know, but do you have to let them participate in your church?
You know that is
Does a halal bakery?
law now, though,
Does a
right?
halal? Yeah, but halal bakeries don't bake. They can't go. They won't bake a Christian or a Jewish.
Right, but that's a halal bakery. But just any other place that has wedding services.
Yeah.
Does all weddings.
Yeah.
Like they're.
Yeah. Well, no, my
It's different. Why
it's
would
not
you go to all place if you don't want a law cake?
right. And why would you go to a wedding guy who doesn't want to make a wedding cake for your wedding,
But they
and he
don't
knows
know
it?
that. They know that they're Christian. They're getting married under. Like,
See, the thing is, I think that has to be obvious. You know.
No, that's like saying, why would I buy whatever from your store because you probably don't like people like look at me. How would I know that? I would just think I like what you're selling and I want to buy it.
Right.
You know. They don't
Yeah,
know
that's-
that. They wouldn't get
As
married
long as
just
there's
like
a
you
public
wouldn't get
accommodation, as long as you can cross into their driveway, then that holds. See, the thing is, as long as they allow the public, for example, a gas station can't exclude you because of color, race, sexual orientation, that type of
Right.
thing, because it's a public accommodation. If a storefront is open to the public, they can't stop you because of your race. Okay, they can stop you for hygiene. They can stop you for suspecting you of crimes, that type of thing, right? And so, I don't know what the motivation is, but I guess to try to move this point forward is how do we unglue in your mind the linking of one bad seed in your mind to infecting the whole group when I'm not allowed to do that for Black Lives Matter and
We just agreed on that.
Okay.
We just agreed. You can't just
okay, so
say one bad
so
apple.
so if you don't like the bacon grease bullet guy, all right, coming over here and protecting civil rights, and okay, fine. But how does that doesn't infect? If you come and meet the people, they're just going to be regular housewives and construction people and business guys and just people who care about the country.
And you don't think that the people, counterparters, don't care?
I think you should. Why don't you come by at? See, the problem though is that they're going to show up at 10 and they're going to try to come and
But do you think that it could be that everyone cares? They just have different points of view, and that's where the button heads is happening?
I don't think
Or
that.
you think some people are like, oh, I'm so mad that you care about the country?
I don't even think you should be able to set foot in my park. That's not right.
No, everybody knows. There's all kinds of people that live here, different political affiliations, religions.
Not see.
Everyone knows that.
But not
It's
this
just-
group. I can show you.
demonstrating
I can show you these
mass,
signs.
representing something that they feel hurts the general population is probably what's going on to where it seems like why would that be different? I know. I mean, I know what you're showing me.
I know. I'm just going to show you these signs that are up here because I take a picture. The only things I cover, I put the baloney on. I put the baloney on slander. Like I don't like when it's like
someone says like kill.
yeah, or that he's alt-right, and it's like what the hell's alt-right, or that that it's a patriots thing, and so they're fascists. I'll cover up the.
But do you know who's speaking actually is on this Saturday?
Yeah.
Do you know that some of them actually write for an alt-right to legal publications, legit publications?
Again, it's a free speech thing, so I don't know what they're saying.
Right, but you're saying you don't know what alt-right is. Maybe you should just look into who
Why?
it is you're going to.
Why? Because they should have a right to speak. If someone was
I'm
going
not
to talk,
saying they shouldn't
if someone's
speak.
going to talk
I'm
about
just saying
erotic,
that way you
if
can
there was
still-
vagina monologues, I would protect that speech.
I'm just saying, you said I don't know what alt-right is. Just you'll hear them speak, obviously, but just so you know that is alt-right.
I know, but my understanding of alt-right has to do with video games.
Well, when you go hear them speak, then you'll get a better
Right,
understanding.
exactly.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
so we'll know,
Just
we'll know,
be in the
we'll,
loop of
we'll
what-
know,
what you're being
we'll know
hearing.
at 4:30 p.m. on the 15th on what exactly they have
And
to
just
say.
make your own. Just make
My
your
name's
own
Ty, by the
opinion.
way.
Hi.
Hi.
Just make your own opinion about it.
Sure.
Whatever you think is right, because I think what's happening is people say things and people jump on them.
Right.
On any side, and then it gets all twisted. You know.
And what I would love to be able to do is stand side by side and watch one of these speakers and see if we're hearing the same message because I don't know.
Well, I mean, I could go to the
I don't know if
website
we're
and look at
Cisco.
it. Their
I know,
their names are listed.
but you might be Siskel and Ebert. See, the thing is Siskel and Ebert can sit and watch the same movie, and they could come out with completely different opinions about what they just
A
saw.
lot of times it's based on your personal experience too.
Yeah.
Like someone could say something and you're like, oh,
Huh.
I don't see a problem with that. And then someone else could be like,
Sure.
well, based on my experience, that doesn't usually work out that way.
So who should you protect? Should you shut that person's down speech because you're offended, or because the other person didn't get what you thought that you interpreted? Like, whose responsibility is it for that person to modify his speech so that it makes you feel better?
Well, what do you think the difference is between like hurt feelings and being offended and someone actually having to suffer some real life consequences?
You have to give me an example, because I don't know what's going through your. Well, what would be an analogy for that? Because I would.
Like you're saying, hey, why would you walk into I'm a Christian man, I don't really agree with gays. Okay, well, that's your opinion, and you believe that, and so that person has to close down over. But that person doesn't get the right to get married.
Well, let's say gays and Muslim. Let's say gays and mosques. We say gays and mosques because for the most part, the gays and Christianity thing is kind of, for the most part, I'd say 80 to 99% has already been dealt with. What I don't think we've talked about is homosexuality in Islam or in mosques, because my understanding is they're very. Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I don't know, because I'm pulling stuff in from Saudi
culture.
Arabia.
You understand, different cultures have the way. People probably think the way we do things here are crazy or awesome.
Right.
You know what? They have to understand that and accept that.
Right.
So the way people do in other countries, I might scratch my head and say that's weird, but I'm not going to hate on it.
Right. I think religion, in my opinion, religion is culture. That's it, because it almost becomes. The thing is I grew up. My dad.
Catholic, Judaism.
It's culture, and as far as and then all that stuff about what you hallucinate as far as what happens, and that's cool. That's your faith or whatever goes in your head.
Right.
That is no. But as far as the culture goes, see, the thing is my mom's from Japan, my dad's from Kentucky, German Irish, right? And so and so I had to deal with Christianity. I went to Sunday school and all that stuff, and unless you say the words Jesus Christ, you're not going to be saved. I'm like, I got a family and a whole heritage over here that doesn't really apply. So I love the golden rule. I say, okay, well, this sounds like a good philosophy of trying to do things, and they just were ignorant.
Okay, golden rule: do unto others
as you want them to do unto you.
Okay, so let's just see if that's applied to that.
Okay.
So.
My name's Ty again. What was your name?
Ty, Mel.
Mel?
For you, that's what I would do. Just do unto others.
Yeah.
No matter what the person right next to you.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to protect free speech.
Yeah. If you would like someone to yell in your face and tell you this or that,
I put myself.
Yell back. But if you don't want someone to do that,
I don't think yelling back is effective. What I would do is I would put myself in between them and turn my back to that person who's being most aggressive, to try to calm the situation down. See, I get proactive that way, as opposed to somebody who gets alpha male and needs to be able to solve the problem.
It's when you're in grade school, when you're with a bunch of people kind of just do what all the other boys are doing.
Yeah.
And just you
mean the mob thing, or?
Right, because if everyone's like, oh, let's go get them, boys. Like,
I can assure you, I'm not the one who's going to be boiling bacon grease and bullets.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a lot of times when people are in numbers, they have the group way of thinking.
Right.
And there's definitely online and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of people who want to go there.
Right.
And when they say we're going to fight for their freedoms, they're literally talking about fighting.
Come and watch how the group dynamic works, and if it goes off as peaceful, if Berkeley police do their job, then there should be no issues. We should be able to record the event.
Their job last time,
right, I know.
Stand by.
Right, so
if they do their job, wouldn't it be against everyone? Because
not right. They should call in the National Guard and hold everybody at bay and let them.
Okay, let's just say there's like some kids fighting. Do you just go?
No. You don't let them fight. You
pull both of them.
You separate the sides. You got to put up a skirmish line.
Well, see, that's the problem. The country's already divided.
Yeah, I know. We'll figure it.
That's why a lot of. No, I'm telling you, you're going to agree. That's why a lot of people don't want this happening, because they feel like it's
not their right.
The
it's not their right. The right is to have it. They should be fighting to make it happen. See, the thing is, regardless, because when they don't agree with something, they should be fighting to make it happen so that it happens without cause, so they can ridicule it. That's how I see things. like as opposed to, it's when they get destructive. For example, I wouldn't rent out an auditorium if I had a church and a big auditorium like a gymnasium. I wouldn't rent it out to a rock group that I knew was going to do a lot of thrashing and because you don't want property destruction, right? But I sure wouldn't want to be able to throttle what they have to say if I'm renting it out to the general public. Because then you get into, well, I don't want, the Jews can't come in, the Islam, what do they call it, the Muslims can't, Christians, all that stuff. I don't care about what their speech is because I'll just tune that stuff out. What I want to do is I want to be able to protect their right to say what they have to say, and so we can then either discuss the ideology and just move on, because most of the time all the stuff is secondary and tertiary emotional reactions as opposed to the message itself. I think if we were to listen to these guys coming in and speaking, then they would sound reasonable, and that's what I hope. But I don't know.
Well, like you were saying with the KKK, yeah, they can say whatever they want. They can come out and march on the street. But what are they representing, though? What do they
hate?
And then what are
hate?
they? And they're trying to recruit more people. More people come with us, join us, right?
But
that's what you want to do. In any march, you want people to recognize you, join them.
Yeah, but if they're ridiculed and lauded, and I'm not lauded, but ridiculed and if their message is so ridiculous, so that see, in a marketplace of ideas, we're supposed to be able to ridicule somebody else's ideas after they have a chance to express them, not during the chance that they have to express them.
A lot of people think it's already been expressed. I feel like, and you may have been live doing so, I feel like so many things happening now is so similar to what happened 50 years ago in this country, but in a different way, obviously.
Right.
But I think, and I say this, going 50 years from now, I think there's going to be kids that probably born yet, that are going to look back and think, wow, there were people that were, for one example, for the people that were like fighting, defending free speech when people were getting told to get out of the country, like, and being forced out of the country, and there was all these things going on, and people were trying to keep people safe and have their freedom. Just like people go back and 50 years ago, they're like, man, they wouldn't let black people go to school. Why can't that just seems kind of silly.
Right. So we're fighting. See, the thing is, we're the civil rights battle now. That's what's going to blow you away.
For everyone.
Right.
Right.
That's
for
what
everyone.
my point is. Isn't
Right?
that what you've been hearing from me?
Civil rights would be taken away from someone who already has them.
Because if we're not allowed to hold a peaceful assembly in MLK, is that MLK Park? Is that what that's called over there?
Yeah.
If we're not allowed to have a peaceful assembly and be able to hear the speeches while we're in the crowd because everybody else is too close and trying to create violence and throwing stuff. Last time I was there, people were throwing D-cell batteries from the outside. So they were launching missiles. Now they're threatening Molotov cocktails.
People just pull things out of their bag and hit people and makes people like.
No, this is all this stuff. It was after people were getting hurt, after people were getting cold cocked, after the old guys were getting jumped and kicked, after people showed up with splits in their head, then these guys went into their what they call their whatever. Well, I call it the bug out bag. I don't know what they call it, but because that's kind of like I read online about these the militia guys. They keep like a bag where you can just run out in an earthquake.
Do you think if someone, not in all cases, but like in a case like this, if you're not there for violence, if someone hits you, do you need to hit them back?
Yeah.
You need to hit them back?
Well, I don't really need, but yeah, you'd be able to defend yourself. If somebody hits me,
if someone hits you once and you don't hit them back, you think they're gonna
I'm not. Yeah, but that's a Gandhi thing. That's a Gandhi thing.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you're there for your free speech, and someone hits you, and then they leave you. What do you mean
leave you alone? Why would you? See, the thing is, I don't get that. Why wouldn't you fight back? See, for me, it's like.
See, then it doesn't make any sense, because it makes sense if you're like, hey.
You think turn the other cheek? You think turn the other cheek?
No, I'm just saying I would in this situation, because you don't want all this violence now, right? You don't want these people.
No, but see, number one, I don't mind the violence. I want the civil right first.
See, that's the thing. If you don't mind the violence, then
no. You're thinking wrong. I want the civil right first. I want the Constitution to survive, and we're willing to fight for the civil right. You see that we're willing to fight. That's why people joined the army for World War II. We're willing to fight for this liberty and this freedom, for freedom,
which is the
freedom to speak, even if it's offensive.
It's not offensive speech.
Well,
it's just
it could be.
The one thing that everyone has in common besides one of the reasons on that side is they want to support Trump and the administration, and they're saying stop protesting them and being violent. We just want free speech.
Well, I think that what you'll find, Howard, is that that's not, what we were doing. Whatever. I'm
just saying, if it's under the umbrella of like what the politicians are doing, then do you see how they're saying, well, yeah, you showing up and talking is free speech, but what you're all about is actually hurting someone.
Okay, but that's what.
That's why people are getting all upset.
Sure.
They don't really care.
What you're doing is, are you doing it against the law, or are you doing it because it feels better? That, for example, ignoring federal immigration law. Okay, this was the thing that my mom was concerned about, because she saw the Chinese and the Chinese Underground Railroad, and she saw this is not fair because it takes away from her jobs.
What about the Japanese internment camps?
No. Of course, no. But the thing is that's not. I would be in an internment camp in World War II, so that's I understand what you're talking about. But what I'm talking about is the illegal immigration aspect of it, meaning that if nobody follows, if you're able to pick and choose what laws you follow, then it becomes a monarchy. It becomes tyranny, because all you have to do is just sway the emotions of the mob at the time, and that's not what this country should be about. You should be able to say, this rule says this, and that's what it's why good neighbors, the best neighbors has fences, I guess. Is that what they say? I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Is that
I know that one.
Well, if you live next to somebody.
Do you agree with every single law?
No, but that's why we change them.
And that's what the protesters are protesting. The protesters.
But you elect people. Just because you vehemently don't like a law doesn't mean you can commit violence. That's why you, over time, what they call is, the founding fathers said.
Consider hate speech violence, though?
I don't know what hate speech is. What do you mean?
Hate speech is saying. Well,
no, I don't.
You should Google it. But hate speech.
No, I know, but
that would make
I know, but when you're saying violence, I'm not a person's speech.
Let's look, because I think these words are important. Hold on, let's see. Hate speech. When you look up hate speech, it tells you now hate speech is not free speech. Okay, it attacks a person or a group on the basis of attributes such as gender, ethnic origin,
political,
religion. Wait, it doesn't say political.
Why not?
Because your politics is something that you choose and something that can change over time. Whatever. So you're born with a certain sex or race.
No, well, you can change religion. So
religion, I don't know. Politics is just not one of those.
And sex, all of a sudden, now you can change, right? If you just file a different form and declare yourself, isn't that kind of?
I don't know why politics isn't on here.
But my point is when you read something, when you come here, you'll see two different types of speech.
Fighting words. Hate speech is fighting words.
Right.
What does one person?
Right, and so when you talk about let's shut down these fascists, right? That's fighting words. That's the hate speech is coming from the people who are trying to shut down free speech of the patriots, which we both recognize as a very wide spectrum.
It is, but it seems to only be represented by.
Well, that's.
In a way that people think of it.
Well, then come.
Anyway, good luck. Whatever you're doing.
Okay.
I hope stick to whatever. I hope they don't change. And just.
It was
just
good.
Think about,
a wonderful
think about
exchange of information.
What you're there for actually great. But if things don't go peacefully, do you think we should just stay there?
So we'll come back again.
Until it gets peaceful?
Yeah.
Because you think eventually it's going to get peaceful?
Yeah, eventually we're going to train this town to be American town again, and not some Nazi place where you can. No.
How can different people argue on what a Nazi is? You know?
Because
if they're saying one side's Nazis, you can't say the other side.
Because you can't, if they're going to smashing windows and throwing batteries and have websites that show Molotov cocktails saying we're going to riot that night, wear a mask.
Yeah, but saying train this kind of Hitler trained people to be a certain way. A lot of people train people.
Yeah, see, the thing is when you bring up Hitler, then all of a sudden everything goes to open loop. So let's try to.
Did you see that the other day?
Who?
He was talking about Assad.
Oh yeah.
He had to apologize. Well,
I was watching that press conference, and in context, it was about Assad was so heinous for dropping a bomb on families that even Hitler didn't drop bombs on families. And so, but what they did was, but he used it in a gas chamber, yeah, and then.
We don't use Hitler or Assad. In this country, we can gas.
Yeah, I'm not sure what tangent we took on that, but I'm sure we agree. But I don't see. We could chat about that then later.
Did it not actually happen though?
Our
police
No, because that was a private property on that wasn't even on the reservation.
Like the water in the Flint, like
right, the water in the Flint.
There's a lot of poisoning going on here.
Right, but guess what that was due to? Is that the Flint lost half of their population, went from like 1 million to 500,000, and they still had all the government people on pensions, and all those government people wouldn't reduce their pensions to pay for the infrastructure repairs that they needed, and so they kept trying to cut costs until they poisoned their own people.
But there's still people drinking that water. And
well, hopefully not. Trump gave them $100 million. They got to be able to fix their own problems, right?
But who's they though? It's our country.
No, it's
Flint. Our cities, our states.
If there was a problem with Berkeley and Berkeley caused that problem and they needed $50 million and we gave them $30 million, they better use that $30 million as best possible to fix their problem, right? That's a Berkeley problem.
So you think it's the governor and the
No, the city, the mayor. It's the mayor and the city council. They wouldn't. It was they were unwilling because it's not popular to change a pension, but the problem is they lost half their population, and so they had a pyramid scheme on as far as taxes go.
I'm just saying, we both agree there's things going on in this country.
Right.
We need help.
We need to be able to share information.
We need help in this country, right?
And I need to be able to learn as much as possible too.
Okay. Well, maybe you'll learn something from the speakers. Something you learn that you don't like.
Or hopefully
Blind patriots. It's just not going whatever.
Right. And defending the Constitution. All right. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for